All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is the 23rd, Saturday. We are heading into a even more tumultuous time. It's pretty nuts, and there's just a couple of items today we're going to talk about. We're going to be very brief on it. Sunday tomorrow, for those of you that are actually going to watch it, we'll keep it short, and I'll have something out tomorrow that'll probably be a little more substantial. So we'll get right into it. There's 2.5 points of business here tonight. One is, we'll start off with the one that's just good information. And so we had the ICBM attack on Dnipro. Might be saying that wrong. I apologize. But that was the missile factory. So I'm going to correct myself and then give you the report. So this missile factory is not new, which is what I said it was. This missile factory was a Soviet-era missile factory, and it made some of Russia's, at the time, largest ballistic missiles. And so very, very large structure. Several football fields when we're talking about length, and at least 60 feet are subterranean. So you had 3 separate stories that was being reported at a minimum. There's probably more than that, knowing the Russians at the time. And so each one of those floors had 18-foot ceilings. I mean, you're talking about something that could assemble ICBM. So a huge building, okay? And that doesn't include, obviously, whatever is up on top that you can see. So factory not new, Soviet era. The retrofit was new. So the thought was they were going to bring in the components for some of these more advanced, longer range missiles that the West, France, UK, and United States were giving them. They could assemble them on site, and the thought was boom, boom, boom. You don't have to worry about all this transit or trying to get these large munitions into Ukraine. They could start producing their own, since we were giving them free reign to launch whatever the hell they wanted to anyway. Why not build it on site? Okay, and that was the new part. And so I apologize for my error there. And this was with oversight, obviously, of these other governments. So advisors and engineers and the people who are able to actually assemble these from France, from the United Kingdom. I'm not sure if anybody from Germany was part of that or not, but all NATO people were in there helping the hands on the ground there in Ukraine. So the ICBM hit 36 individual strikes, and now we're getting word from the residents what the aftermath of that was. And this is why we know some of these other details about the building, unless you're really a nerd and you're really reading into it. But there is nothing left of the building. It's just a pile of dust, according to the residents there in Ukraine. All 60 plus feet underground, again, it's just a crater, concrete and dust. And the impacts were so great that it cracked apartment buildings several miles away. And the water lines ruptured, the electric lines ruptured, but not because they were hit, but because the force of the impact shifted the earth so much, there were friction breaks in the lines. And which makes sense. I mean, we're talking about an ICBM, these are the most powerful weapons known to mankind, even though it was not nuclear retrofitted. Obviously, we can presume now that we know a little bit more about the structure, that the MIRV head that was put on there, which launched the 6 warheads, which then launched the other sub-6 warheads, were armed with some kind of bunker-busting munition. And thus, when you saw it on camera, granted it was grainy footage, it just kind of looked like glorified like flares or something. It didn't look real impressive when they, outside of the speed at which they drilled into the earth. So obviously, a lot of that explosion was happening underneath the Earth's surface and hid a lot of the explosion. So it wasn't this impressive above the ground eruption going on. All that action was happening subterranean, and just pretty impressive stuff, pretty nerve-wracking stuff. And anytime that happens, thankfully, we're talking about military targets, and we're also talking about a military target which Russia did give, love them or hate them, they did give 30 minutes plus 15-minute flight time. So if there was personnel in there, they did give the Ukraine 45 minutes to get hightailed out of there so that they would not become a casualty. And so that is good, okay, if there's anything good to be said about it. The second thing, more disturbing, we have updated our nuclear readiness. So this is a separate ranking from DEFCON, right? It's like a sub-ranking inside DEFCON. So 9/11 happened, we were at DEFCON 2, but none of the nuclear forces were on a high readiness alert. We are at the highest readiness alert in our nation's history. You know, subs are in the water. Everybody's rocking and rolling, and this goes across NATO. So this is basically, it's called different things in different countries within NATO, but any NATO member that has nuclear readiness to be had is on alert. So you can assume the countries that would also be participating in this raise of readiness. But to be honest with you, countries like Finland, Sweden, Germany, Poland, I mean, they've been handing out pamphlets saying, get ready for World War III for over 2 months now. I mean, at least in some capacity. Like, they were kind of like weird messages that were being given to corporations, and then this past couple weeks it's been pamphlets. And Germany actually deployed something maybe 3 months ago to his citizenry, just telling them like everything you need to do, what to expect from the government, and what job you had. If you had this job, this job, this job, a whole list, when the war breaks out, you're not allowed to leave work because we still need you because you're part of critical infrastructure or supplying the military or whatever. They were still needed. And so they had like the penalties and crimes if you did bail out on your job and all kinds of stuff. So this is nothing new outside of, now it's specific to nuclear readiness, and more specifically United States of America nuclear readiness. And along with that increase in the readiness level, France, the United Kingdom, and the U.S. have all given free rein for Ukraine to take these long-range missiles that they're pouring in there and use them on any target they see fit with inside Russia. So probably a really bad idea, but like I said before, they're hell-bent on getting this thing rocking and rolling no matter what. They want it because they certainly don't, it's not necessary. So if it's not necessary and someone still does it, you can pretty much just say, well, they're hell-bent on doing it. Unfortunately, it impacts all of us. But like I said, I won't rant too long on this video. I hope you all have a fantastic evening, and I will be back tomorrow. Bye.